All right, we got early sports betting for August the 4th. It's me, Mike, and Steve. He likes to join us on a regular basis. You know why? Because he really likes us a lot.
I like this music. I just joined for the music.
Yeah, I remember you calling this clown music one time, by the way. OddsJam
Not this
player,
one.
player prop mobile app. Get it for iPhone and iPad and for Mac computer. Discord link below for the paid picks. Get them. Mike, you can jump in at any time. You're going to click the links below for the best sports books in your state, right?
Yeah, and then you're going to take a look at the OddsJam Partner Program. Those links below, share those, get up to 20% of any revenue generated from you sharing those links. Also, live chat's available. Get in here and talk. Get in here and talk with us. Live chat is available. Like and subscribe to this video. And Bob, what about that form?
Get that form below in the description to get a personal one-on-one tutorial on how to make $2,500 a month sports betting. And there's a Calendly link for Mike if you want to talk to him one-on-one, or there's one for me if you want to talk to me one-on-one. We also got TikTok. TikTok has been cooking. We're up over 8,000 followers, trying to get to 9 grand and then the 10 grand. OddsJam_nuts. And if you want to talk to Mike, you can email him, Mike@oddsjam.com, or me, Bob@oddsjam.com. Nobody ever emails me, Mike. I think they like you. I think they like you better than me.
Sorry, Bob.
You think that's the case? I think they like you better than they do me. All right, here's how I'm going to do this tonight. Let me take control here because I got a lot of stuff to cover. First thing we're going to do is we're going to jump in to Steve's Wyndham Championship picks, predictions, best bets, outrights, top 10, top 20. All right. And by the way, Steve, I know that you do just top 20s, but you go to PointsBet and you can get into top 40s. Doesn't DraftKings have top 30s? I know FanDuel.
Not anymore. No, most books have done away with top 30s. So that's why top 40s, the payouts are so minuscule that, again, like golf is so variant as it is that I would rather go for the, like last week, the 5-1 payout versus a plus 120 payout. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a little bit different betting golf, folks, than it is betting on other sports. And you got to get into a rhythm here. So what Steve has is he has his outrights here. These are winner picks. Sungjae Im, Zalatoris, Lowry, Horschel, Webb Simpson, and Russell Henley is back in the pack. And Steve,
our man Henley,
a lot.
Yep, I do. Yep. Yeah, I mean, Henley. So this course is one of the shortest courses on tour. A lot of just, like last week, the Bombers did well. So you saw guys like Pendrith, Cam Young, obviously Finau. They all dominated. This week, it's exact opposite. Length is not an advantage. You actually have to be accurate off the tee because if you don't hit the fairway, on average, people who go in the rough versus fairway make 30% less birdies. It's going to be another birdie fest for sure. Right. Last year, the winning score is -20, and that only got you in a playoff.
And who won last
year? Kisner. In a 6-man playoff. But
6-man playoff, yeah.
Henley was the 54-hole leader. He went into Sunday up 4 strokes, bogeyed, and then all he had to do was par 18, and he would have gotten to the playoff, and he bogeyed. So,
if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Na missed a short putt to totally blow it, or it could have been
exactly
ongoing. All right. So here we got derivatives, meaning top 10s, top 20s. And as you can see, a lot of the guys that are in the outrights are also in the derivatives. So if they win, you get them both ways, man. And in this particular play with Russell, we've got him as an outright, a top 10, and a top 20. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it also protects you. If he finishes top 10, you make money. If he finishes top 20, you make a little bit of money. So really all you have to do is
Right.
finish top 20 and you break even. If he finishes top 10, you make a lot. If he wins, obviously, you make a bundle.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's
right.
Yeah.
So that is on the OddsJam golf page. So now the other thing that we're going to do, we said that we would take on the AFC North Division tonight. And I've got the odds up here, guys. Before, Mike, you get to talk, I'm just going to tell you this right now. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though they're a dark horse, could finish higher up in this division than what people are giving them credit for. And they could sneak in because their out of division schedule is not that difficult. I mean, I know they got the Eagles and they've got the Colts, but those are all beatable teams. And Mike Tomlin's the coach. Mike, what do you think about the Steelers right now? Remember, Mitchell Trubisky is penciled in as their starter.
Yeah, and we don't know. I mean, there's obviously some quarterback competition there. They drafted Pickett. They've got Mason Rudolph. There's definitely question marks at the quarterback position. They've got weapons. Yeah, I mean, they've got some guys that can ball. I mean, Najee Harris was a good rookie last year. They got a good defense. You got Deontay Johnson, who is a stud. So it's not like these guys don't have weapons, but I just don't know that I can buy into them with the question marks at quarterback. And look, if you tell me Mitchell Trubisky is their quarterback, I don't expect them to win a division that has a team like Cincinnati, a much better quarterback, and arguably just as good a defense, truth be told. Same could be said about Baltimore. So while I do think you're not far off by saying Pittsburgh could be respectable this year, I just don't know if I can buy into them with let's face it, when it comes to quarterback play, they can't compete with Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Right. Okay. So I got to throw one thing at you here real quick, guys. The Steelers have picked up Jeremy McNichols to add depth at running back. He just went on injured reserve.
Yeah.
So they signed Master Teague. The whole concept behind this was to give Najee Harris, who led the league in carries last year, some breathing room. He had like 318 carries in a regular season, 14 carries in the playoffs. That's a lot to shoulder, and it's a lot of beating up. And this McNichols was a guy who was with Tennessee, Steve, but now he's out, and they've got an issue at finding somebody to get some reps.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, like in the NFL, backup running backs are a dime a dozen. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Like you see it every year. James Robinson, a fringe nobody, for the Jags 2 years ago, became one of the best running backs in the league. So, yeah, running back is, especially backup running back, I pretty much give that zero credence towards, a team's success. I mean, here's the thing. What's Mike Tomlin's claim to fame? The dude has never had a losing record in his career.
Right.
But they added the extra game. I think this year they probably go 8-9. I think, the problem is their schedule in the beginning of the year is brutal. Bengals, Pats, Browns, Bills, Bucks, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, but are the Browns, let's go there now. The Browns are plus 300. Let's look at this. Plus 160 for the Ravens, plus 200 for the Bengals, plus 300 for the Browns, and plus 1,000 for the Steelers. Guys, the NFL is fighting this Deshaun Watson ruling. The NFL is appealing it, okay? They're trying to get this guy suspended.
Yeah, that's let's be honest. If this doesn't get changed over 6 games, I'll be honest myself. That's pathetic. I mean, the guy should be suspended. You suspended a guy for betting on his own team. His own team. How long? A year?
But here's the thing. I think last year time served is being built in. So Watson technically missed all of last year for a suspension. So it's really like a year and a quarter suspension. So I think that's the argument. Like last year counts as time served. So that's why, it's less.
I didn't know that they were. This was like a law thing. I thought this was the NFL, and I'm with Mike in this. I think you know what, and if he's not going to be there, I think that lessens the Browns' chances. And I think the Browns are going to wind up in last place.
They easily could because, Watson. So at best, he's going to come back after 6 games. It's a pretty easy schedule, so they'll probably go 3-3 at worst. But the thing is, he's going to come back, and you expect him to just hit the ground running. That's not realistic at all. So
Right,
I
exactly.
agree.
I agree with you 100%. All right,
Yeah.
Mike, you talked about the Bengals. Shouldn't they really be the favorite? I mean, they went to the Super Bowl last year. Are they not going to get any respect? I like Joe Burrow. I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are winning this division this year.
Well, I mean, they're certainly not that far off from Baltimore. And again, Baltimore does lose Marquise Brown now. Marquise Brown is certainly MIA a lot. So let's not just act like they lost a superstar necessarily. But there are some but here's the thing. A guy like Mark Andrews, what he does to defenses and what he can do for average receivers, I mean, he's a problem. And when you've got a guy like that and a guy like Lamar Jackson, that is very, very dangerous. You see it with Kelsey and Mahomes. He can absolutely kill you with those seam routes, and there's almost virtually no way of stopping it. And if you do, Baltimore has shown they can develop receivers that aren't necessarily big-time name guys and be effective. Right. And, they are committed to a running game. We could say, well, their running game's not, they don't have a star running back. No, but they got a bunch of different guys, and they are committed to it. And Harbaugh's a heck of a coach. So, the Bengals are coming off of a great season last year that none of us expected. For us to believe that they can replicate that, I think it's going to be tough for them to do because now they got a target on their back.
Right.
Yeah. And let's not forget their schedule last year was a 4th place schedule, right?
Yeah.
So they played all the bottom feeders.
Yes.
This year it's the exact opposite. But I agree. I mean, do they have the best quarterback in the division? I would argue yes. I think that Burrow is better than Jackson.
Sure.
Typically the Super Bowl loser does take a step back, but they really improve that offensive line. So, I feel, I think they're going to be back in the playoffs, in my opinion, for sure.
I think so too, yeah.
There's nothing, who's really stopping them from going to the Super Bowl outside of the Chiefs or Bills? I think you can argue. I'm a little surprised that they're not the favorite to win the division, to be honest. I think, a lot of sharp money is coming in just because, the wise guys like to fade the Super Bowl loser. But Burrow could be the next Brady. So,
Okay, I got to do comments here real quick. Stephen Batson, nice to see you guys. He's saying, Mike, that sounds like a good team to bet on. Stuart Zimmerman has a question for you. He thanks for the golf picks. New golf better. Last week we had Russell Henley plus 500 for top 10. Was a tie for 10th place. Only got paid 1.5 units, not plus 500. Explain. Doesn't that depend on the books, Steve?
Exactly. So you got to read your book's rules. Some books will do what's called dead heat, where, if it's 5 guys tied for 10th. So essentially what happens is you get half of the stake, or you lose half of the stake, and you get half of the winnings. Right. So, but, a lot of books don't do that for derivatives. Make sure that you don't bet them in books that do that. MGM doesn't do it. BetOnline doesn't do it. I think FanDuel does it. DraftKings may do it.
DraftKings definitely does it. DraftKings does it. I don't know if FanDuel does, and I don't think PointsBet does. Stephen Batson, my comment was in reference to the guy betting on his own team. Sorry. Out of nowhere.
Ridley. Calvin Ridley.
Oh yeah. Bet on the crappy Falcons. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So Who you guys got winning this division? I'm still going to go with the Bengals.
You know, I'm going to look. I agree. Bengals are going to make the playoffs, and this is really tough. But I'm going to go with Baltimore just because I think you're going to see that schedule for Cincinnati become a little. They're going to have a target. It's going to be a little tougher. They're probably not going to have as smooth a sailing. They'll have some stuff to overcome, but I still think they're a playoff team. So I'll go with Baltimore to win this division.
You same with you, Steve?
You know, I'm a huge Harbaugh guy, but I'm going with the Bengals. Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals.
Okay. All right. There you go. When I'm on the same train as Steve, then I know I got something going on, Mike. No,
yeah,
that's right.
Well, and let's face it. I mean, it's going to be very likely. If they don't win this division, they're not going to be very far back. Baltimore and the Bengals are probably going to be same record, game apart. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, I agree with you there 100%.
But boy, if the Bengals hit the ground running, guys, whew, what if, right?
That could happen.
And,
that could happen.
Yeah, it definitely could. Like, I think, 12 wins.
I'm going to share my screen here real quick.
I got to definitely have the talent.
I got to go through a few positive EV plays for tomorrow. Pirates and Brewers over 9. 21-cent market with Mike. Do you got the pitching matchup in that game?
Yeah, that game is in Pittsburgh. It's Woodruff on the mound for Milwaukee. Thompson on the mound for Pittsburgh. Certainly, I don't expect a lot going for Pittsburgh tomorrow with Woodruff on the mound. I think he'll do a pretty good job there. You've got value on the over.
Right.
I'm leaning the under, but then if you really take a look, Bob, Milwaukee, 53% of the time the over's hitting in those games with them, and Woodruff is not exactly their ace either. No. So, I think we can roll with that because Milwaukee could put up enough runs themselves to carry an over potentially, right? So, let's go with that.
21-cent market with plus 148 on the Pinnacle line, sharpest book in the world, plus 156 when you take the juice out. No big fair odds. Plus 160 on DraftKings. And if we look here, even though it's not a big percentage to win, I think that it's a good bet. It's a good play. I'll put a half a unit on it.
Well, Bob, my lock of the night tonight was the Brewers on the run line minus 1.5. They're up 4-0 in the second. So, yeah, I think,
nice.
There's evidence right there tomorrow. I mean, if Milwaukee, there's 4 runs Milwaukee's already put up. So tomorrow, I'd roll with the over again.
As we keep on going here, things change. And just after we hit the over 9, the over 8 showed up at plus 105 with a 12-cent market with, and we got to hit that for a full unit.
Stuart says, thanks, Steve. And Stephen Batts, our boy, says, can't go wrong with the Steve train. No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
And we're doing a butterfly Bob right there, the over 8 and over 9. Okay. We got
what game was that, Bob? The Phillies?
No, the Pirates and the Brewers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Over 8 and over 9. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Now we've got just very quickly, I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. Angels, A's, YRFI, yay or nay?
Angels, A's tomorrow. Yeah, let's go with a YRFI. I mean, most of the time it appears that's the play. I mean, 2 bad teams. No Ohtani tomorrow. He's pitching tonight. So yeah, let's roll with it.
Padres, Rockies, YRFI, yay or nay?
Ooh, Padres and Rockies. It's in San Diego though. Right. So yeah, let's go with it, Bob. I mean, the Rockies themselves are YRFI machines in their games, and the Padres are kind of middle of the pack, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll put a full unit on it then. All right. And then finally, Cards, Cubs, YRFI.
I think I would roll with it. Once again, you're talking about a Cubs team that most of the time, I mean, they're the only team that has more YRFI games than them is the Blue Jays. And then you got the Cardinals who are at least top 10. So yeah, let's roll with the,
and then this one I can't get away from. I'm going to hit it. It's a 9-cent market with the Twins and the money line against the Blue Jays, plus 104 on the perfect line, plus 108 when you take the juice out. No big fair odds, plus 112 on FanDuel. I have to hit that for a half a unit, even though.
And Alan Gray on the mound. Toronto certainly has pretty good pitcher there, but it is in Minnesota. So, yeah, I'll roll with that.
All right. So let's see what we had here. And then we're going to go back to this north and very quickly, we're going to do an over-under for wins. Okay. So we hit the Brewers and Pirates over 9 plus 160 on DraftKings, and also over 8 plus 105 on Caesars. We hit 3 wire FIs all on DraftKings, A's and Angels, Rockies and Padres, Cardinals and Cubs, and the Twins on the money line plus 112 on FanDuel. So let's go back to this AFC North division. Over or under wins? Steve likes the wins. I say over 10.5 is going to win this division. I think 11 wins the division.
I don't. I think, I mean, I would set it at 11.5. I think 12 wins it. I think the ceiling for Bengals could maybe get to 13 if everything goes right. They stay healthy. But yeah, I think you have to get to 11 because don't forget the extra game. So,
well, that's true too. Good point. Oh, well, I'll roll with that. 12 being the number to win the division. Mike, you like that at 12?
Oh, 100%.
Steven, wait until you know who the pitchers are, you nuts.
Yeah. Well, we are the sports nuts. Steven, I'm pretty confident in those lineups tomorrow. The only worry is looking at the games. A lot of aces are on the mound tomorrow, so they're pretty well set there. They're not gonna, there won't be no change. I wouldn't think there. And the ones we hit, Musgrove is on the mound for the Padres and Freeland, so I think we're safe. I think we're all right.
Sweat the Bet will be coming up at 8 o'clock Central Time. So in a little over an hour. So you guys join in for that. Tomorrow night, we are going to do the NFC North. This ought to be an interesting division this year. We're going to find out whether Steve really thinks the Lions are going to make the playoffs or not. Will you be here for that? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, because, Bob, don't forget, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, first NFL game of the season, Hall of Fame game, and I have a great bet for it, but it's going to be a second-half bet. I'll give it out on the show.
Nice.
All right. I like
you all
that.
Heard it.
You heard it here.
Yeah, we'll be blasting that out tomorrow. We'll be letting them know on Twitter. They better tune in tomorrow because who doesn't want to bet on NFL? I mean,
exactly.
Come on.
I'm putting 10 units on it tomorrow night.
You didn't say